Hey guys, was an addict here. I'm a recovering addict, and I'm a recovering addict. For 17 years I spent using alcohol and drink and ice and pills and anything I could get my hands on to be off my face. The more off my face I was, the more I liked it. I didn't care if I was stumbling, falling in places I didn't know where I was. It didn't really faze me. I didn't really care if I survived or not. I got a chance in recovery in 2019. I lost a mate to suicide, and it was where my head was at the moment, at the time as well. So I something changed in me, and it was really amazing how I went from rock bottom of nearly giving up to changing my whole entire life from that day. 30th of March 2019, I started my recovery, and holy shit, it was hard. It has been an absolute battle. I spent most of my years on it, when I went out, when I did anything, when I spent time with friends, anything that I had to do, I had to be fully loaded to feel relaxed and okay. Many times I've been invited to parties, and I would party the night before and get that wasted that the next night I wouldn't attend, because the anxiety was so severe that I needed to use to be okay. So I went to 2019 and I started to work out that I have a lot more problems than I thought I had. My OCD started coming out. My anxiety started smashing me, like really bad. Like I couldn't leave the house or anything like that. My depression was up and down. It was a battle and a half. Today, now, I still suffer with those problems, but I find ways to get through it. A lot of the time when I go through these times, I like to jump out of what I'm doing and just have a break from everything. At the moment, I'm having a break from everything. Excuse me. But my very first year was extremely hard. When you spend every day on it and then you spend every day not on it, it's a very strange feeling, and it's a real battle to really not use when you're so used to it. So that first year was really just a thing, is to get each day done and each month done, and then get through it. And I started a diary. I started a bullet diary. I call it my bullet diary. This is what I started from the very day one, and I documented my recovery in this book. So there's everything in there. I worked out a lot of things about myself through this book. So that first year, I made it, and I was like, yes, I fucking did it, and I was super strong. And then 3 days later, I went back on it, and I only went on it for one night. Broke my heart, like absolutely, was just like I felt like I threw that whole year away. I did find out that I was still drinking, not a lot. I drank 4 times in my recovery, or 4 or 5 times in my recovery for the 3 years. But drinking is what led to using, because I had no control in myself whatsoever if I drank. And I was replacing the ice with drink as well, but it became a problem. And I realized I had to throw that away as well. Down the track I learned that, but my second year was really about, because I spent a lot of time alone and reprogramming my mind of what I see myself as. I wasn't worthy. I hated myself. Everything was just wrong. So I had to rebuild that, reprogram the mind, rebuild it, start a routine daily, and really get into this obsession of this new recovering addict. So I relapsed, and then I went another 8 months trying to get to that year again, and I did all sorts of things to keep my mind busy, like fitness. I started the garden. I built the garden. Each pay I would buy something for the garden. I did a lot of painting my nails and my feet every week. I'd take it off, put it on, just little things to keep my mind distracted. But I also had to learn how to go out and get a job and stay sober, which I've had jobs. I last about 6 months, But normally I'd go into this stage where I would be clean and sober, I'd get a job, and then 6 months I'd go into this fuzzy feeling where I knew my routine, I knew what I had to do, so I could just do that. But I wasn't physically there, so I kind of felt like I was standing back from my actual body and I was watching it work, and that feeling is very, very uncomfortable. And I realize now when I get it, I understand, but back then I was like, fuck. So I start drinking, I start using, throw the job away. I had many offers to be really good in a lot of jobs, but I chose my addictions. Well, my addiction had me. So that second year was to get a job. So I chose a job that I needed my license more than ever. So it was a driver. So I couldn't use this, breathalyzers. There's drug testing and stuff like that. So I got a job, and I did my second year, and I lasted in this job for over a year. I'm still working part-time with them now. But even making it a year in a job, clean and sober, is fucking phenomenal. So big changes, But then 8 months come and I relapsed. So this is while I was working. I relapsed once, and I was freaking out because every time I was driving, I thought, fuck, they're going to pull me over. I'm going to lose my license. I'm going to lose my place that I live in. Like, everything was right in front of me and saying, all right, now I've made this mistake for one night, last night, or I had a week off work, to get on it, to throw all this away. And I was like, fuck, I don't need this shit. So the second relapse, I realized that I don't need it. Like, it's not what I thought it was. It really isn't. And you start to experience life on a natural high. I used to experience life, have to be on it to feel it and enjoy it. But as you go through your recovery, you start to feel life like you're on drugs. And it's just like, you don't need drink, you don't need to use to feel like you're having fun. I can do things now, and you could have sworn that I was off my head when I was like running around, because I'm just so full of energy and so much life in me. This is my third year coming up in 30th of March 2022, and this year is, I've just passed a whole year again. I hope this isn't confusing, but I relapsed at the start of 2021, and that was my relapse. I believe that now I have it. I can't promise the future, right? Because this is an addiction. Addiction can creep up on us over anything, something could happen, and I may turn to that. It's not a promised future, but I'm definitely trying my hardest to stay the person who I am. So this year is about, this is new waters now. Like, I've gone through a year now, and I've completed a year again. Now, I've never gone over a year clean and sober, and last year was my first year being sober as well, because I was still drinking, but not that much, but I was still drinking, but that's what led to using, so I had to throw that away as well. And I gave up smoking as well, so I gave it all the stuff that was absolutely a waste of money. And now I put my money into looking after my body. I signed up to the gym. I own a business as well, and I am a host of a show, and I'm a creative. I was an addict, and that's where my money goes to now. I've got products coming out with my, not products, I've got jerseys and that coming out with my own logo. I come up with this logo, and it stands for me, what I am. I grew up in a rough town. I was an addict. I am not an addict now, but I was, and I still have those traits to still become an addict. But it's how I get around things, So this year is really, I really want to concentrate on just really finding myself, because I just feel that I get everything right and then I lose it again. So I am on a mission to do fitness daily, 2 workouts a day for the next 3 months, and drop about 20 kilos. I have put on a lot of weight since I started partying, and since I quit, I put on a lot of weight as well. And that's normal to recovery, is you turn to other things to replace your addiction, and one of it was my eating, So if you're going into recovery, I found out that was one of the triggers. I used to get back on it to lose my weight, so I realized that's a trigger, so I need now to find a way to get rid of it in the right way. So I started fitness, but I would advise everyone who gets into recovery to start fitness, because it's great for the mind. I did it for the mind to start off with, and then I started seeing that changes, and I was like, fuck, this is awesome, you know. But you have to really stick to your promise, your routine, you know. Sometimes I don't want to get up and do it, but I have to do it, you know. And then once you get in that set ways, if you don't do it, then you actually feel bad for not doing it, and you need that tick off your list, you know. And then I'm gonna, in about 2 months, I'm gonna get back into the business as well and start sharing these products and moving forward with that. But at the moment, I've got to sit on me, because I've got through a year and I just feel that I'm missing something, and I just need to really concentrate on my mental health, you know, because I struggle with anxiety, I struggle with an eating disorder, I struggle with mental health like every single day, you know. So I've got to just get some things a little sorted before I can really put something in full force, you know. And my business is, you know, it's a lot of hours, and, you know, I'm dealing with a lot of people, and I'm talking to a lot of people, and that I'm just not ready for that yet. You know, there's a state of mind that I'm missing, and that state of mind can really lead down the wrong path if I don't watch out for it, you know. Because I read my book, and I've learnt so much triggers and so much things that I'm aware of, so I know when to pull back. And as much as I'm leaving my business behind, you know, I'm not doing the show anymore, but I'm important, and if I don't pass this, I'm not going to be a recovering addict, and I need to stay afloat, and being very aware of myself, you know. And that's what I spent the first year. I spent my first year really, my first 2 years really soul searching and finding what works for me, and you know, what I can evolve around, you know. So I'm going to be back into my book again, because I haven't done it for like a year, because I've just been trying to live a sobriety life, and sobriety life is one of the hardest things I've ever had to go with, you know. To hold a job and be amongst the world when I'm so different to everyone, you know. I have a problem with people. I have social anxiety, you know. I'm a hermit crab. I want to lock myself up and not see anyone, you know. And I wouldn't care if I didn't see anyone again, because I'm always been a loner, you know. But that also breeds addiction as well. So if you lock yourself up and don't maintain your recovery, like if I didn't do meditation, if I didn't do stoic, if I didn't do fitness, and I didn't do my book, I'd be back in that obsession of addiction, because that's not looking after myself, you know. And I'm healthy eating now. I'm also doing a fasting, because fasting, when you're hungry, your brain doesn't work as well. So you kind of teach your mind to be calm and get through things without food, because food sort of makes your brain work, but without food, you kind of go in like an overload anxiety attack. And I'm learning how to cope with that, because I feel that this is something that's going to help my recovery and help the way I look and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a little bit about my recovery. I'm a recovering addict. Used meth, ice for 17 years actually. I didn't think I was going to make it out. I thought I was going to die an addict, but I got a chance to feel the real life, and I'm thankful to be able to feel it. I really am. I'm thankful to be able to spend time with my son. Like, he's just come up, and I spend all the time with him. You know, I've never done that kind of shit. I was always out partying or recovering, you know. I'm a good mum now, you know. I took him out to the movies and that kind of thing. This is what happens in recovery. But then I have days where I completely crumble and everything is just like, nah, it's shit. But it's those days that I realise that, you know, I've beat this addiction, and I've really got an amazing life in the future, you know, and I'm an amazing person. I just need to learn how to let people in, which is not my I don't let people in, but I've got some amazing friends out there, you know, like Michelle and Jackie and Ray. Like, they mean the world to me, and I've met them. I only met them through recovery. I wouldn't have met them if I wasn't in recovery, but they are truly amazing, and I'm thankful to have such, you know, powerful people. They're just so switched on, and, you know, they're recovering addicts as well, but they're at a different level from what I am, you know. I'm the more messed up, like, I'm a recovering addict, but I'm still fucked up, you know. I've got a lot to take control of, to be able to wake up in the morning and do what I do, you know. I spent most of my life on it, or in bed sleeping until I got on it. So yeah, but anyway guys, I am Bella. I'm creator of Was an Addict, and I'm definitely here to share my story. And if you want to leave a comment down below and subscribe so I can actually go live and start a little fan page for the YouTube and that. And I do have a Facebook page called Was a Addict as well, so jump on there and add yourselves. I'm not going to be on there for about a month or two because I am having a break from everything. My mind says I've got to do it, but I'll be back on there. But yeah, no, sharing awareness of addiction and that recovery is possible, and mental health plays a big part of you actually being in their drugs and the drink, you know. So mental health is something that we need to understand and really get a hold of, because if we don't, we end up back on it, and I don't want to end up back on it. I know I'm crazy, but I'm amazing as well. And have a great day.